Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be talking about the cinematic and literary masterpiece that is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So if you don't know what The Perks of Being a Wallflower is, it is a book written by Stephen Chbosky in 1999 with a film that later released in 2012, also directed by Chbosky. It is the story of a 15-year-old named Charlie, an introverted freshman, and he's taken under the wings of two seniors named Sam and Patrick. Charlie is played by Logan Lerman, who I love very much. And Sam and Patrick are played by Emma Watson and Ezra Miller. Also, a fun fact, I'm such a loser, but I decided to dress up like Sam in this video. In the movie, she happens to wear a varsity jacket a lot, and she constantly wears headbands, which is kind of like her staple thing. So I decided to recreate the look. You can barely tell. I'm obviously not Emma Watson, and I'm very much sweating in this jacket.
Gross.
But anyways, just like any book to movie adaptations, there's obviously going to be some differences. In my opinion, I think that this movie lives up to the book very much, but I want to talk about what I think the book does better in terms of storytelling versus what I think the movie does better in terms of storytelling. So let's get started. So number one, what I think the book does better is the depiction of Charlie's mental health. So even though the movie does a really good job in showing us his mental state, I think the book does happen to go a little bit more into detail with that. We get to know more about his life previous to when he met Sam and Patrick. So his life before high school, unlike the movie where we actually start with him in high school, and it's more about his friendships and the relationships that he forms rather than what happened previously. It really helps us understand him as a character in comparison to the movie. Number two, with what I think the book does better, is the portrayal of Candace's character. So Candace, who is played by Nina Dobrev, is Charlie's older sister. You know that she is in an abusive relationship with her boyfriend, but that storyline happens to take a much bigger toll on her character in the book than it does in the movie. In the movie, we do get to see a scene that shows the abuse in the relationship, but it really doesn't go into too much detail. But the book actually has a much bigger storyline in that she gets pregnant with his baby and she actually decides to terminate it, which I think would have done a lot more for her character than what's shown in the movie. It would elevate her by a lot, and we would get to see a little bit more backstory to her rather than she breaks up with him, but we don't get to see any build up or anything that leads to it. But something that I do appreciate about movie Candace is her portrayal as a sister towards the end and the way that she helps Charlie. Number three is the story of Aunt Helen. So Charlie's Aunt Helen plays a large role in both the book and the movie. It's implied that she abuses Charlie, and she was also abused as a child. Readers know that she was molested by her father at a young age, while in the movie it's more implied. You have to add the two together. The book just kind of provides more information about her as a character and her life, and it's easier to draw connections rather than the movie that shows Aunt Helen in a series of flashbacks rather than any backstory. Number one is I think the movie does a better job in storytelling, or narration at least. In the book, everything is written and explained in a letter format from Charlie, but in the movie, everything is just told in a straightforward manner and is shown to you, while also like staying true to the letter format style. I think that this was a better choice made by the film because you get to see Charlie's personality shine more. We actually get to see not just the thoughts inside of his head, but we get to see him being funny, like when he accidentally eats a pot brownie and gets high at the party for the first time.
Bob, did you get him stoned?
Come on, Sam. He likes to just look at him.
How do you feel, Charlie?
I just really want a milkshake.
Or him being bold when he approaches Patrick for the first time at the football game. Number two is the character of Mr. Anderson, also known as Charlie's English teacher. This also may have to do with the fact that he's played by Paul Rudd.
Get away with it! He can't keep getting away with it!
But unlike the book where Charlie just talks about his teacher, we actually get to see their dynamic in the classroom. It's a lot easier for you to connect with Mr. Anderson in the movie than it is with him in the book, just because you get to see his personality and the way that he interacts with Charlie.
Why do nice people choose the wrong people to date?
Are we talking about anyone specific? We accept the love we think we deserve.
Can we make them know that they deserve more?
We can try.
Number 3 is the tunnel scene. Tunnel scene is, in my opinion, one of the greatest movie scenes of all time. So if you don't know what the tunnel scene is, so the difference between the tunnel scene in the movie and the tunnel scene in the book is that the song was actually not Heroes by David Bowie.
Oh, we can be heroes just for one day.
It was Landslide by Fleetwood Mac.
Till the landslide brought me down.
Which is a beautiful song, the original and the Glee version, but it's kind of slow and I don't know if it would have worked as well if it was that song. Heroes, on the other hand, is very upbeat and freeing, and I feel like it brings the quote, "I feel infinite," to another level, and it just ties everything in together so well. But overall, I love the book and movie so much. I cannot pick which one I like more, but I will say that I really enjoy the movie for the purpose of the actors. I think that Logan Lerman did a great job in his portrayal of Charlie, and that he convinced me that he was a 15-year-old freshman going through all this. I think the chemistry between all 3 characters, the trio, Sam, Patrick, and Charlie, and that you would think that they've been friends for like a lifetime. I just also think that the movie, not to go on a rant, but I also think that the movie just has like some of the most iconic scenes, aka the tunnel scene, and let's not forget the secondhand embarrassment that is the truth or dare scene. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my book to movie adaptation analysis on Perks of Being a Wallflower. If you read or watched the movie, let me know. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next week. Bye! And it brings the whole "I feel infinite" to another level. What?